game. And Tannehill doesn't give up, doesn't relent, and he gets the ball to Derrick Henry, and they find a way, which leads to the other quarterback. Whereas Tannehill got it done and found a way on the road in the rain against his tough defense. All week we were criticizing Lamar Jackson in those big spots and said, you can't really come from behind. Well, they're up 21-10 in this game. They lose the lead. 3rd and 6. Just, you want it so badly for them. You just want it so everyone just... And they, in the highlights, you're like, they're setting up for a field goal. I don't want them setting up for a field goal. Mahomes goes for a touchdown, puts this game away. The Titans, they go for a touchdown in overtime. They put the game away. Rodgers wants the touchdown. There was no receivers open. The play call was questionable. They settle for a field goal. They don't do anything in overtime. Game over, they lose. Lamar could have shut everyone up, could have stopped everything. Instead, this is what happens. Tannehill says, here's how you do it, son. Ooh. I'm going to go and I'm going to lead it all the way downfield. I'm going to hit Corey Davis. I'm going to look for this one on a big play here. Some quarterbacks in the clutch have found ways to get it done, even if the numbers aren't dazzling. Tannehill's that guy. He finds a way. I don't know if Lamar is, guys. I don't know if Lamar, he doesn't have that win in the NFL, that comeback victory in the 4th quarter. He had the opportunity last night.
And this is big. I like seeing Lamar kind of chippy. I mean, he bumped Malcolm Butler. He did not like that at all. And these two teams, the Titans come in. They've lost 3 of 4. The Ravens have lost 2 of 3. It's not pretty. Everyone's mad. It was like 2 heels in the match. There was no face in this one. It was 2 heels. And before the game set the tone for everything. If you want Lamar to be pissed, if you want this is some college stuff. Now, if you didn't see it, it's the logo thing. The Titans came out and were surrounding the Ravens logo as you would, Michigan or Oklahoma. And Harbaugh's basically saying, get the hell off our logo. And they're saying, get the hell off our face, old man. And then Vrabel's not, definitely not, especially not with Baltimore. They're 4 games behind Pittsburgh. There we go. Vrabel's like, he's looking for it. It reminds me of like a Jim Schwartz versus the other Harbaugh, Nate. I know you were part of that. Oof. Pissed off teams who play very physical and needed to win, and guess what? Tennessee finished it. Baltimore, we're seeing a thread here of not finishing, especially in a game when it gets heated. Tennessee wins, Baltimore loses. Needed to have that one, man.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I don't need any highlights. I love the wide receiver play in this one. A.J. Brown, when you think about this offense, you automatically think, oh, he's the man, which he is. But Corey Davis, who's the leading receiver in this one, had over 100 yards. And what made it special is he didn't do much in the first half, but in the second half and in overtime, he was one of the guys they leaned on. So I like the fact that they have the run game in Derrick Henry, but they got 2 studs, 2 really good, almost #1 wide receivers on the outside.
We're going to have to talk about the Ravens side of these things, though. Does Lamar Jackson have that? We're talking about the weapons that allow Ryan Tannehill to wheel and deal out there and get these sort of wins. Does Lamar Jackson have that at his disposal? We'll talk about it a little bit later. You can get your Thanksgiving started with us right here on Good Morning Football. Guys, I heard Mooch will be on our show that day.
No kidding.
Yeah, a little Turkey Day action with Mooch. He's got the wine. He'll bring that to the house.
No doubt.
Texans, Lions, Washington versus Dallas, and the nightcap is Ravens, Steelers. All of those Thanksgiving Day games.
You run a little tennis. Hey, there's some nice spas in Vegas. Sometimes you go, you get a little deep dish, you get a little win. 35-31, 66 points in a back-and-forth game that was electric. Let's hear from the winners in a really entertaining one. Mahomes and Andy Reid, who says, look, we got Pat Mahomes.
You had to get this one. You wanted to beat your rival. Was there a little extra juice this week?
Yeah, there was no doubt we wanted to win, and I think the guys came to play. And, like I said, that's a great football team. Teams beat a lot of good football teams, including ourselves. And we needed everything we had to win this football game.
I've got Pat Mahomes, so I know you give me a minute and a half, and I'm pretty good right there. I'd take him over everybody, and I'm lucky to have him. So as we are as a football team, as we are as a city, and I know we're all proud of him and the way he goes about his business. So, and when you're behind, he can make things happen. I'm proud of the way they handled this. This thing could have easily gone the other way, and it didn't, and it's because they bear down.
Happy to have him, and he's locked up there in Kansas City for a long, long time. Taking a look at the AFC playoff picture to start our show. Here's how it's looking after last night. Chiefs still sitting in that 2 spot. The Raiders are hanging on in the final wild card. Nate, most impressive. This game was so fun. I love this game and this rivalry, which it is a rivalry.
Yeah, it was a great game. The most impressive part was that final drive in overtime. You're sitting here not overtime, in 4th quarter. We're sitting here looking at the Raiders, and Jason Witten catches that ball, and you think this game is over. And then Pat Mahomes just goes down the field with ease. This might have been the easiest drive of the game. And at first I was watching, I'm thinking to myself, why are guys so wide open? It's almost like the Raiders defense had no chance. And what was beautiful about it, they were hitting all of their playmakers. It seemed like everybody touched the ball. Of course, it was Tyreek Hill that was everywhere on the field, and then they ended with Travis Kelce. They strike so fast. I was sitting next to my wife watching this game, and I said, what animal strikes the fastest?
Okay.
And I spent 5 minutes trying to figure it out. I don't know if it's an alligator coming out the water. I don't know if it's a cobra. I don't know what animal to use. All I know is if you give Pat Mahomes and this offense time, it's a wrap. I was so happy for Jason Witten, I immediately hit the email chain and said, producers, give me Jason Witten. I'm going to show my guy some love. He came out in the draft with me in 2003. And as I'm sitting out this message, I look up, and they're climbing down the field. So for me, this is what makes this team so good, because they can get a lead and keep a lead on you. But more importantly, when it's the winning moments of the game and there's 2 minutes left, they're going to win this game. And they took that from the Raiders. The Raiders played great from the beginning all the way up until that final drive.
75 seconds were left on the clock. When Witten scores that touchdown, they do the probability of win probability. The calculations say Raiders are an 81% chance to win. And I'm like, that's why the numbers don't. You got Mahomes. Like, that's for any other situation. Is there a Mahomes algorithm? Because it's a different algorithm. It's a different factor. And Mahomes, at any point, and you think, you're saying, well, Witten scored, you're hitting it. At any point, did you think that they were going to stop the Chiefs' offense there? You knew Mahomes was going to win. I don't know if any athlete has ever had this quality where in the biggest moment, he's not only going to get it done, he's going to get it done and then go the extra level. Because guess what? They were down 3. A field goal would have tied it. And they weren't playing for a field goal. In 75 seconds, they go 80 yards. They leave a ton of time left on the clock before Dan the Man Sorensen ices it. I just find Mahomes so not only great and all this stuff, and his numbers weren't spectacular, but he's clutch. He's so clutch. And I don't think it's LeBron. I don't think of any of these baseball pitchers. Everyone's like, Game 7, you want him the ball? No one is as consistently so amazing in these moments with 75 seconds left where you don't even doubt that they're going to win a game, and they do. My last takeaway on it, though, see the playoff picture going in today? Check this playoff picture out one more time because Kay brought up the screen.
Sure.
Do you know who would play if the playoffs were tomorrow in that 2%?
The Chiefs and the Raiders in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. Sign me up. Because the Raiders, and Kyle, you might hit this, the Raiders were awesome last night.
Yeah, their defense at the end was maybe doing their Brian Russell impression. You knew it was coming. But, what did you learn in the game? I didn't learn anything about the Chiefs. I learned that Mahomes is Morpheus, and sometimes their defense is terrible. I feel like I learned a lot about the Raiders. Oh, yeah. You don't trade bombs with Mahomes. That is a terrible, terrible idea. Just 2 fighters in the middle of the ring. They did. And you know the thing, Peter, you're saying, did you have any confidence that the Raiders D was going to stop them? Do you have any confidence that Derek Carr would not have get stopped if he got the ball back? It was like, remember when Mahomes lost to Brady in the AFC title game, and it was just because of the coin toss? I felt like that.